Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to share with you guys my personal life event. That was indeed a turning point in my life. But before getting into the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting real couple stories. This is Michael James. I'm 26 years old. Let's backtrack to the last time when I met a beautiful and stylish girl named Kate who used to live in my neighborhood. Kate was the only kid of her parents. She was really an antisocial person who always stayed at her house for most of the time. I remember she used to settle in our neighborhood for a long time, but I hadn't contacted her before our conversation started when we joined the same gym. Her shyness was really alluring. So I proposed to her and soon I got married to her. Our married life is going good. She used to be very responsible and caring wife. I remember my wife used to cook food regularly for me daily. On my arrival from my office, she used to give me a welcome kiss, although she had a degree in accounting but never took an interest in job. I am a graphic designer by profession. But at that time, the majority of my university fellows were working as an influencer over different social media platforms. Mainly Instagram. I found it quite interesting and useful. As I remember, by updating their social media platforms and uploading content, they used to earn good, even they used to enjoy free products and visit whenever they collaborated. Well, I started blogging as well, but obviously, I did not have any idea about the blogging initially. So I decided to hang out with my friends. I remember that day when I reached the house, I found my wife's mood really ruined because she was not replying to me when I was telling her what I discussed with my friends regarding blogging today. I remember when I went to the kitchen, I was shocked to see the fresh cheese bread and cooked fish in the bin. When I asked her why she wasted the food like this, she said rudely that she had received steaks from one of our mutual friends on Snapchat where she found me eating lunch with a lot of female friends. She further said that she thought obviously I couldn't eat that cheese bread and fish along with her as I was full with lots of girls. So she decided to throw them. I remember my wife was continuously taunting me by saying a lot of girls in every sentence. To be honest, that time I found this act so cute and burst into laughter. I even kissed her hardly on her cheeks and made her clear everything. I even asked my wife to join the blocking field by telling her the advantages of being an influence. But she did not respond. I tried my best to fix her mood. And finally, we both slept peacefully one day when I was designing a poster for a character day on my laptop. One of my friends, Julie, called me and said that she was going to avail her free food when she was invited as a blogger. She was asking me to go with her, as many of our friends were also going with her, but I denied it. I remember she insisted me a lot and said that my visit to the restaurant along with him would be very beneficial in boasting about my blogging page. I agreed with her. I told my wife to go with me, but she said that she was not really fond of eating free food. I remember I asked her that I would buy her food and insisted on her a lot, but she did not agree. This thing was really clear that my wife lacked confidence as I asked her so many times to hang out with me. But she never agreed. At first, her shyness was a love for me. But later, her excessive shyness and antisocial behavior was really challenging. I remember that night when I reached the house back after hanging out, my wife was gazing at me and did not hug me back. When I hugged her, it was indeed a matter of concern for me as I wanted to see her happy. I wanted to fix the matter as I couldn't afford her bad mood anymore. So I insisted she go outside. I took my wife to the restaurant where I ordered her favorite Chicago-style pizza for my wife. Fate was really unfair to me. When I was eating pizza with my wife, one of my friends came and hugged me. I am damn sure that her intention was all pure. She was just hugging me and she wanted to congratulate me for gaining 5 key followers on my blogging page as she cracked a joke. Now you attain a heart of 5K people. How can you identify ordinary people like me? My wife's mood was really bad. I remember when my friend was about to hug her, she pushed her back and went outside of the restaurant. That moment was really embarrassing as everyone at the restaurant was judging us. My wife was definitely very angry with me as she left her favorite pizza. I remember I hurriedly run outside of the restaurant in order to fix my wife's mood. But I found her nowhere. After searching her there for about 2 hours, I finally found her sleeping in my car. Well, I took her to the house. The next morning when I woke up, I was expecting my wife to create a lot of panic and crawl. Her response was unexpected, as I was shocked to see her preparing herself in front of mirror. It seemed like she was going somewhere. I remember she was holding the document file as well. When I asked her what happened to her, she said that she's going for a job referred by her friend. To be honest, I was really happy to see her like this. In fact, I patted her on her shoulder and said, "Good luck." My wife did not give me any response. She just said that she had prepared the breakfast for me. I asked my wife, should I drop her? But she said, one of her friend who introduced her, this job would come to receive her. I remember when my wife reached the house, she seemed really tired. She threw her bag away and slept in the bed. She did not tell me anything about her first day at her job. I thought that maybe my wife did a lot of work today at her job so that she might be tired. I went to our bedroom and gave her a cup of coffee. I remember when she was drinking the coffee, she was continuously gazing me. When I asked her about her first day at her job, she said it was good and asked me to turn off the room's light. I remember it was about 3 a.m. that night when my wife's phone was continuously ringing. I had not ever seen her phone ringing before this time. I remember as soon as my wife's phone began to ring, she quickly went outside of the room. When she came inside of the room, after attending the call, she was shocked to find me still awakened. Even I did not ask her from her to whom she was talking on the phone. She began to give me an explanation that it was her friend's call who was asking her to bring some documents with her in the morning at the workplace. I did not say anything to her and asked her to sleep. My wife's attitude was getting strange day by day. Like she used to remain outside of the house. Most of the time I remember once it was that day, one of the jacket's brand managers was continuously calling me and inviting me to his place for a promotion. Even my friends were asking to join them in the opening ceremony of a restaurant where I was invited as well. But I refused. I really wanted to spend quality time with my wife. I remember I ordered my wife's favorite pizza for her. I bought some beautiful lingerie for my wife. I remember that before this, whenever I used to do something interesting on weekends for my wife, she used to be very excited and happy. This time, I did not find my wife excited. Like I remember when I was sharing the lingerie which I had bought for her, she was continuously doing her screen time. She was literally not responding to me as well. It seemed like she was busy somewhere. I went to the washroom in order to take a cold shower. Meanwhile, my wife knocked on the door and told me that she was going with her friend who was asking her to work online with her. I remember I kept calling her name while standing inside of the washroom. But she did not respond to me. Obviously, she had already gone. I was really very angry and disappointed over my wife's behavior as she ruined my plan. Well, I kept calling her but she was not picking up my call. She was really not irresponsible before this. I remember that day my wife reached at 1 a.m. She was totally drunk. I took her to the bed and was already upset at my wife's lies as my wife said that she was going to her friend's house for work. But then I kept calling her. She was not picking up my call. She was really not irresponsible before this. I remember that day my wife reached home at 1 a.m. She was totally drunk. I took her to the bed and was really upset at my wife's life as she said that she was going to her friend's house for work. But actually she was chilling with her friends. The next morning when I woke up, I caught sight of my wife who was putting a lot of powder in her neck. It seemed like she was hiding something, maybe a wound, as I heard her slight shout while putting the powder. When I asked her what happened at her, she was first totally like a fish out of water after finding me awake and said that a mosquito bite her. I really did not notice her much because I had to go for a promotion in a restaurant. I asked my wife to go with me but she refused. Her activities were getting strange day by day, as once when I was working on my laptop. Meanwhile, my laptop's battery died. I went to another room in order to take my laptop's charger. I was shocked to see my expensive watch in my wife's hand. It seemed like she was about to wrap my watch in a gift paper, as there was a gift paper in scissors on the table. I did not appear in front of her as many questions related to her lack of attention and interest were popping up in my mind. When I asked my wife where she was, my wife replied that she was ironing her clothes. Well, I realized that something must be wrong with her. The way she used to spend most of the time chatting or calling was the thing to consider. I decided to chase her the next morning. When I woke up, my wife was preparing herself in front of the mirror. She was wearing a beautiful dress that day. She did not even make breakfast for me, as according to her, she was having an urgent meeting at her office. I pretended to be lazy and sleepy in front of her. As soon as she left the house, I hurriedly moved outside of the house and began to chase her. I kept following her and was shocked to see my wife dating a young man. To be honest, my feet froze after seeing my wife with another man. I really wanted to cry as I loved her very much and couldn't even think that she could do this to me. I remember my wife was holding his hands. I was shocked to see my wife giving him my watch, which she was packing yesterday. I realized that this person must be a gold digger, and she was continuously staring at the gift given by my wife as if he wanted what's inside the gift. Even my wife paid the restaurant bill. I did not create any scene. Even though I was very furious, I decided to give my wife a lesson. I succeeded in finding the address of that person to whom my wife was dating. I went to his house. At first, he was not accepting to be my wife's boyfriend. Later, he agreed when I gave him money for his confession of being my wife's boyfriend. He was really a greedy person, as he even asked me to pay him more, so he would show me his pictures and chat with my wife. I was shocked to know that my wife used to give him luxury and expensive perfumes, as my perfumes were set on his mirror. I asked him to do something that was really a turning point for my wife. I remember I really did not pretend in front of my wife that I know the reality. I asked my wife to give it to me at the dinner of one of my friends. I remember, as usual, my wife did not agree with me and began to lie that she wanted to work tonight along with her friend. When I asked her about her friend, Ian asked her to invite her friend to our house and do the work along with her. She was highly confused and began to say that she was ready to go with me for dinner. When we reached the dinner venue, my wife was continuously checking her phone as if she was waiting for someone. I asked my wife if I was going to give order. My wife was sitting alone that time in the chair. When her boyfriend came in front of her, she was literally very confused and had no words. I reached at the same moment. My wife was sweating and shivering. Her boyfriend said to her with sarcasm that if a lady couldn't be loyal to his life partner, how could she be loyal to anyone else? I patted on his boyfriend's shoulder, gave him some money, and he left. I remember my wife was crying badly and asked me to forgive her. She said it was not bearable for her with any girl. So everything she did bench. I didn't say anything to her and left the restaurant. She did not come back home a few days back. I received a message from her that she is pregnant. She even attached some DNA tests as well. She even promised me that she will not repeat such activities. She's further saying that she had never shared her bed with her boyfriend. I am really confused. Please help me in making a wise decision. Your feedback would be very helpful for